Excuse me, mate. I'm trying to talk to the camera. Don't shine that at the camera lens.
Why?
I don't know. Just don't do it. You might actually find it a cool special effect. Let us have a go. Hang on. What does that do? Oh, that's weird, isn't it? Ooh, that's cool. Well, you might have discovered something, Jeffrey. Look at that. That's awesome.
It's a good one.
That is a good one. Hang on. Alright, welcome back to the channel. Better guitar than yesterday, where anything can happen but nothing much does. So I tried to make something happen there on the piano, which was the intro to, or supposed to be the intro to Rock the Casbah by The Clash, which I will break down in the next video and talk about. So yeah, this is supposed to be a guitar channel. That isn't a guitar, that thing with the black and white keys. But I was I was asked by a friend, Phil, if you're watching, about this particular track, Rock the Casbah by The Clash, 1982, from the album Combat Rock. You know, everyone knows it. Great track, really infectious bass line, disco beat, and political lyrics, which is, you know, really interesting to have that mix of stuff and have it so popular. But, you know, I always joke about these songs that are so catchy, these political songs that are catchy, that, you know, they could be writing about filing their tax return and, you know, people are still going to dance to it. So anyway, The Clash. So Phil had this book, Greatest Hits of The Clash. And of course, Rock the Casbah, he wanted to learn how to play it. He's on a bit of a guitar mission, you know, like a lot of us. And he's just like, well, you know, these chords that they give, you know, just giving open chords like E minor, A minor, D minor, G, F, open chords, little boxes showing where to put your fingers and the words. And he's just like, well, you know, that tells me absolutely nothing about the song and about how to play it. It's like, how did they get from that to that? But I said, look, is there any tab? He's like, no. I said, well, just take a photo of couple of pages, send it through to me. I'll have a look at it and I'll see if I can figure it out and get an answer for you what's going on. So anyway, so I had to listen to Rock the Casbah a few times, and I'm like, okay, right. You know, this book isn't completely useless, but it's almost next to useless, I guess, for a beginner guitar player. Yeah, you can sit around the campfire and go, you know, rock the Casbah, you know, rock the Casbah, you know, but it doesn't sound really anything like it. Anyway, so in not this video, but the next video, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to go through it. And I'm going to explain what's going on, or what I found out by breaking it down. And, you know, this is a great exercise for guitar players, is to actually move outside your comfort zone and go to, you know, if you've got grandma's piano, or, you know, you can get access to a drum kit or a bass guitar, or even just listen to the drums, focus on the drums, watch some YouTube videos on the drums to particular tracks. Especially tracks like this one, which is, there's really not a lot of guitar at all. There's next to no guitar. There's a few little chord stabs, but it's bass, you know, that bass line from Rock the Casbah is an absolute, you know, it's killer. It's iconic. It's so infectious. There's a disco drum beat going on. So really, you know, to understand something like that, it's all about rhythm. And one of the benefits of going to another instrument like drums or piano, I mean, piano is a really rhythmic instrument. If you don't play piano, I mean, you can play piano, yeah, like sort of free without, yeah. But you know what I mean? It has the ability to be percussive, and it's often used in that way. So I use the metronome extensively to try and drill the piano parts of Rock the Casbah, and I use a metronome on the drums, something that I haven't really done before because it's hard. Again, this was how I get better at guitar than yesterday, and how you can too, is by focusing on the things that are hard, not on the things that are easy, right? And rhythm is absolutely everything in any music, really. I mean, you can break the rules once you've drilled them, but and particularly a song like this that is so groove orientated. Anyway, that's enough about Rock the Casbah. The little clip at the start I opened with because I want to talk about, my kids and, your kids, if you got them, and kids in general. They're just amazing. The insights that they come up with and the things that just come from left field, because they just have this, they're just not self-conscious. They've got a kind of what is it? Well, they don't have this sort of insecurities, I guess, that we can carry out on with as adults. And, when kids are, especially when they're sort of pre-teen, and I know when they're teenagers, that's when all the shit comes in and they start to self-doubt and all that stuff. And then, hopefully they bust through that. But, when they're sort of pre-teen, that they're little kids like that, they have this amazing, they'll just say what's on their mind. They'll see things you don't see, and they just have this wisdom. And I'm trying to really appreciate that, and that's why I showed that little video at the start. Jeffrey, in particular, is probably because of his age. He's a 7-year-old, so he's very, very curious about the world, obviously. And this is the thing that I talk about and want to encourage, and I try and surround myself like-minded adults, is adults who are still curious. They still maintain curiosity in the world. So Jeffrey, that was a little example, the little, discovering that little light effect, which I want to use one day properly. Properly. No, that sounds snobby. He used it properly. He already discovered it. That was it. But Jeffrey's helped me out with songwriting before. So I've written a song last year called Dreams, and he said, "Daddy," I said I was having trouble with the vocals, and he's like, well, "Why don't you just do?" And I tracked 2 different vocal parts, and he's like, "Daddy, why don't you just play both the vocal parts, or all the vocal parts? Why don't you just play them all together?" And I was like, "Oh, duh." Of course. I mean, I guess that's what record producers do oftentimes, but it just never occurred to me. But Jeffrey's kind of just curiosity kicked in. He's just like, just play it all together. Sounds great. And so that's what we did. So we played the 2 vocal parts together, and it was great. And the other thing that Jeffrey helped me out with was Rock the Casbah when I was learning the drums. What is it? I'm not a drummer. I'm not a piano player. Anyway, so there's these fills in there that are quite hard, I'm not up with at the moment, but I knew it was a basic kind of disco beat going on. And Jeffrey's like really into Pokemon, right? Being a 7-year-old, so he's obsessed with Pokemon. And anyway, there's this Pokemon character apparently called Ludicolo, something like that, right? Ludicolo. So he was outside my office listening to me trying to play this disco beat, and he's like, knocks on the door, and I'm like, "Okay, come in." And he's like, "That just sounds like the Pokemon that, card that I just got the other day." And I'm like, "Okay, what's that?" And he goes, Ludicolo, Ludicolo. And he starts bouncing the syllables and to the rhythm. And I'm like, Ludicolo, Ludicolo. And then, so that's what we ended up doing. And it worked. It helped. It was just, it gave me a lift, and Jeffrey was dancing around, and it was awesome. So, it was just that little reminder to say, really listen to children and see their boundless curiosity and their ability to just push self-doubt away. So that was a great thing that happened this week. We went to Melbourne, which was fantastic. And, it was great to get the kids out there. And, even though, when we were at the zoo, the Melbourne Zoo, g'day Howie. I couldn't decide whether it was safer to be inside the cage with the animals or outside with these kids, because they were driving us up the wall. They just wanted to press all the buttons. They weren't really interested in the animals, all the interactive stuff. They were just interested in that. Weren't really interested in the animals. So anyway, after they lasted an hour, and then maybe half an hour, maybe 25 minutes, and then started to whinge. And we could have gone around and looked at everything and read all the little signs and but it was fun. It was good. We went to Brickvention, which is the Lego thing, which was amazing. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff, which I can take or leave. But you gotta hand it to him. It was amazing. Like, this guy had built like an 880,000 piece, Imperial Star Destroyer thing that was massive. And I said to him, I said, just what kept you going? And he's just like, the fact that nobody had ever done it before in the world. So it's like, okay, cool. Hats off to you, mate. Again, just curious, wanting to do something for the first time. And these are adults doing this stuff. So, cool, whatever floats your boat. And then we visited my Auntie Joan, great Auntie Joan, I think I should call her. She's, my grandmother's sister. And 97. I hope I got that right. She's not 96, but anyway, she's seen a lot of stuff, right? She's seen a lot of stuff. 97, Jesus. And anyway, so that was great to see her. And she'd had a fall recently, so that was not great, but she's still with us, bless her. And her son and daughter there were there, and as always, by her side. Fantastic couple of. Do you call people in their 60s kids? Not really. Son and daughter, yeah. Anyway, so that was fantastic to catch up with them and my sister and her family, and so now we're back on the farm, feeding the lambs, doing all that stuff, and anyway, so that's my week. And for anyone that cares, this is just what it is, just me talking shit. And shit a swear word? I can say shit. Anyway, next video, I'm going to break down Rock the Casbah, and yes, I will go back to good old metal. In fact, this is the first thing I did was when I got the internet, the Starlink online, was go and have a bit of a binge of some Lamb of God videos, of course. Anyway, over and out, and I'll see you in the next video. The Clash, Rock the Casbah. See ya.